Welcome to Archangel Revelation and Prophecies 444. What you're looking at is a chart of a twin flames chart I just did, natal analysis, twin flames natal charts analysis. And the person was asking what happened the day they met, what was going on up in space the day they met. So that's what you're looking at. Now, if you notice in all natal charts, any identifying information is always removed. What I've been doing is sending the full chart to the people that ordered it. But online, any identifying marks are removed. So that's how you see it the way you're seeing it. All right. Now, again, you have to understand, I'm going to try to give, when you get an analysis, a reading is a reading. An analysis goes way deeper. That's why they call it an analysis. And some people confuse, because it's easy to confuse the two words, but there's a major difference between both of them. This will be a reading as to what happened, what was going on up in space that day. Now, when you look at the first house, which is your ascendant AC, you still see a lot of Masonic numbers, 44, 22. These are all, but it's amazing because you saw 11, you saw 22, and I think you saw 33 on the other charts. And now it's one about, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a chart on that'll be on this page. It'll have suspicious in the title, and that will be uploaded today, but it's going to take a while. That's a 6-hour video, so you will see it, but it'll be one of the newer videos. The number 44 is a Messianic number, a Masonic number, and that's why Barack Obama was the 44th president. And he also, I was telling you about the 18th dynasty of Farrell Kennedy. So that's why I said what happens is, I like to be honest. What happens is when you see people's natal chart, you see how great they are and how connected they are, but they just stay third dimensional and they don't get it. And they don't understand. You don't want your natal chart to find out just about your career and love. That's just silly. That's bubblegum astrology. You want to find out your natal chart to find out who you are, who you're connected to, and what's your purpose here on life. See, when I talk, that's what I talk. I don't talk the silly stuff. I can show you it with no problem, but if that's all you're looking for, I feel sad. Because you may never get that love you're looking for. You're going to be one of these people that are always chasing sex, and sex is what's going to destroy you. Because that's why I tell you a lot about Nibiru. See, more people are looking down on third dimensional to self-destruction, and they're not looking up like the scriptures tell you to. So that's a really good video that you'll see. Like I said, it's a 6-hour video. It will have the word suspicious in the title. That's what you want to know. Because it's kind of funny. I started off with the numbers. We started off with a president that was a 32-degree Mason. Now we're looking at a president that was a 44-degree Mason, Barack Obama. But see, that's the final. That's the last building. That would be what you call the temple, and that's why Barack Obama was in the Farrell and Kennington bloodline, because it was the Kennington's bloodline that mixed with Europe, and that's how Europe became royalty. See, the Queen can trace her bloodline back to the Kennington dynasty. So can Aleister Crowley. So can Adolf Hitler. It goes on and goes on. These are bloodlines. So that's what you really should be interested in. Not that the other stuff you can't be involved with, but that should be lower. You're talking about people who had the blood of ancient ones, the blood of the gods, and it goes all the way back to Sirius, Orion constellation, and all that stuff you see in Egypt. That's why, if you notice, Hitler made sure he had a base in Egypt. A lot of people don't know that Adolf Hitler had Moroccan blood, Morocco, North Africa, Egypt. And that's why Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart. So that's why you see that 44 right there at the ascendant. And you see the 22, which is a twin flame number. Also the number of God's people. That's the 1111, also the angel number. So right away you're learning the ecliptic is the sun going over the ecliptic, the EP, the east point, whenever this is in a natal chart. But whenever the person was born or whatever. The ascendant is the sun going over the horizon whenever the person was born. And this person would have been a Pisces. So you're dealing with spirituality again. And you see how close the moon is, which is dealing with Aquarius. So I talk about all of this on those natal charts. So they will be uploaded sometime today, and you'll have to refer back to those to get a fuller understanding. 16, again, 4 times 4 is 16, or 16 is 4 fours. And then there's the number 40, which is always the number of testing, and usually for God's people. He takes you through the wilderness, 40 days, 40 nights. He takes you through the flood, 40 days, 40 nights, or even 40 years. But it's a testing, but it's also an initiation to higher knowledge. And as you see, that's at Neptune. Number 6 is always the number of Venus, the number of love. Or even in the Bible, it's 666. The 6th hour that darkness showed up. So it's also the number of the divine feminine. That's Luke 23, 43 to 46. Again, all of this was explained in a previous video. This is actually like part 2 of that video. This is the 3rd natal chart. So we already see this is a spiritual event, probably also dealing with dreams and tuition. And now again, Chiron retrograde. So the universe was dealing with some type of past wounds that haven't healed yet. But again, this is not a natal chart, it's a space chart. So of course we wouldn't know who they were talking about. But it could refer to some Pisces, but maybe not all Pisces. But it can show you it's Aries, aggressive spirituality going out into our world. I can say the universe, but I really want to say planet Earth, because this is where it's focusing on. Now Neptune retrograde, we learned from the last chart. Neptune retrograde helps people with their intuition. But they also have to be careful, because Neptune retrograde tends to escape. They don't like to deal with reality. They like to go into their own little dream worlds and escape. So we learned all of that on a previous chart about a Neptune retrograde. So in other words, intuition was high on that day, but escapism may have been high too, and people were suffering from past wounds that haven't healed. So the universe is trying to use that Pisces energy to help heal, because Pisces is a healing sign, believe it or not. That's why Pisces rules your 12th house, the final house. And that's the house of closure, reckoning, dealing with the subconscious. It could also deal with incarceration, buildings, prostitution, alcoholism. So all these were issues on that day throughout the planet. And because we're doing the 12th house right now. And that's Aquarius. Looks like 2 waves. And now you have the moon in Aquarius. A very observant sign, so a lot of observations was going on. But remember, this is in the 12th house that day. So the Aquarius loves to study human nature and analyze why everyone around them acts the way they do, and I tend to do that all the time. They are often shy themselves and may appear bitch detached. If you sit down and talk with an Aquarius moon, they will probably tell you that they always felt different when they were growing up. While they can be sociable, at heart they would rather be on their own. Well, Aquarius does like independence, but so does Sagittarius, so does Aries. So there's an independent spirit going on that day as well. But I think they were using it in a good way. It's an independent spirit, but it's to help the community, help the planet as a whole. And again, this was 1984. And what's unique about 1984 was the book 1984 was out, I believe, by George Orwell, about the New World. But again, we are going into a new world, which is the Aquarius age. Many people are saying. I'm sorry, this was 2014. So this is 30 years later. So this was 2014 when they met. 30 years after 1984. But also, just to let you know, in 1984, Harold Camping, I think, was also out there saying a few things. I forget if it was 84, 88, I forget. So I'm just trying to tell you the vibe, because like if there were any researchers listening, they would probably go back online and find out what was going on at that time in 2018. I'll tell you this, it was like you could say the late summer of 2014. All right. So they are making people independent, but these independent people are trying to help the community as a whole. Because they always tell you each one, teach one, or you got to stand up and care about, like Bob Marley, stand up, glad for your rights. So bottom line, sometimes it's more, because sometimes groups of people, they can't get it done. It only gets done when individuals start to stand up. It's I can't really explain it. You have to understand about revolution, because this is what you're kind of looking at. But groups sometimes fail. It's only when individuals stand up, because that's when they really get scared. Because they figure if it's just a group, they'll just wipe out the whole group. But when individuals stand up and they're all over the place, now they know they have a problem. You understand? Because if they wipe out a group, but more people stand up, they can't keep wiping out everybody, because then the whole nation is going to, the whole world is going to say, hey, look, you guys are murderers. What's going on? And that's happened in China. That's happened in a few places. A dictator in East Africa. It happens all over. You can't just keep wiping out people. Like you could squash an uprising, but if people keep standing up, if individuals keep standing up, they know they have a problem, because they can't keep killing everybody, because at some point the nations are going to start to say, wow, we have to do something. So that's why this is about making the individual care more about the nation. That's why they're dealing with Aries energy, but also Aquarius moon is more about an individual. The Aquarius moon may have a strong ego. They'll do their best to be unusual. And we have to understand some of these signs we're talking about in this video, which is actually a part 2. We've already discussed these signs, because some of these signs has strong prominence in the other videos as well. So to really understand this video, make sure you listen to that video as well. That's a twin flames analysis. It has suspicious in the subject, in the title. So Aquarius moon loves to be unusual. They don't want to fit in. They can be idealistic, and we definitely had that on the other chart, especially the chart to the left. But the one to the right also had it a little bit, but not as much as the one on the left. They can be idealistic and progressive, but they try to act like jealousy and fear and possessiveness doesn't exist. And they try to act like they're above those petty emotions, but they're not. They can be very stubborn. See, Aquarius is a lot like Leo. That's funny. But they said Leo, with Leo, everybody knows. But with Aquarius, he's covert. And see, Leo was dominant in their chart. Those two charts. Leo kept coming up. They can be very stubborn about getting their way. As they get older, they learn to handle themselves better. They have a strong need for independence at any age. They take great pride in their family and will often brag of their accomplishments. And they say they like to shock things around them. So if they grow up in a conservative household, they'll go out of their way to change that. Moon Aquarius are prone to temper tantrums when young, even though as they grow up, they end up feeling that emotions are messy. While they can be so good at understanding others' motivations and behaviors, they often lose touch with their own. This happens because they get too caught up in what they want to achieve rather than what is reality. I know I met one Aquarius. This is somebody else, totally other guy. I mean, as soon as I met this guy, I did not like him at all. And I hadn't even studied Aquarius yet. And once I studied Aquarius, I knew why. But he really was. He was trying to use words that he didn't know what they meant. Because he was trying to act like he was smarter than he was. Now, I'm not talking about Uriah. I'm not talking about Thomas More because he's an Aquarius, but I'm not talking about him. It was this other guy. This guy wanted me to do a natal chart, and the girl was underage and stuff. Like, yo, dude, what do you want me to do? I'm not getting caught up in no felonies. So I didn't like him for just different. He was just trying to be a know-it-all, and like the most simple thing that he could do, he wouldn't do it. And I hate when people use words that they don't know what it means. Like, just use the word that you know that it means. Stop trying to be something that you're not. So that is a problem with some Aquarius. That is a major problem. Aquarius moon sign person is kind and compassionate, though it may tend to be shown more as a broad philosophy rather than an actual action. And again, that people notice that. Because maybe you're a nice guy, but you're a nice guy because of something you believe. But you're not really being a nice guy because you care about the person. And people catch that as well. Aquarius moons may seem aloof. In fact, they enjoy the eccentricities of those around them. And they feel confident in giving their partner lots of freedom. Their optimism and friendliness help them attract lots of friends. When they are unhappy, they tend to focus on their activities to such an extent that those around them have difficulty figuring out something is wrong. Aquarius moon is an intellectual that is both intense and intuitive. They love all aspects of freedom, both on a personal level as well as the wider sense for humanity. They can work long hours to support a cause they believe in. They're playful, childlike. They can have a great sense of humor, but they must be cautious that they don't inadvertently hurt another person's feelings while trying to be funny. They are great dreamers, preferring to keep their head in the clouds at times. So this is like when the universe was beginning to change. Because if you notice, we're at the point now where like a lot of perverts, a lot of abusers are getting caught. They're getting charged with crimes. This is 2017 now. So this is like over 3 years ago. So to me, this was the start of this so-called, I'm just going to, for lack of a better term, the start of the Aquarius age, the beginnings. Because we're getting away from deceptions and lies and acting like you're something that you're not. That's the Pisces age. That's why a lot of people don't like Christianity. They say you people are a bunch of phonies. Especially you can't say Christianity because Christianity helped overthrow the indigenous people and rape people and rob people and take their children. They were doing everything in the name of their God. And that's being exposed. But I brought that out on the other natal charts because you saw it then. They are great dreamers, preferring to keep their head in the clouds at times. And that's what Neptune retrograde does. So that's why I said if anybody needs further understanding, go back to the charts already done because this is actually part 2 of those charts because it's already been explained. Aquarius moon can be unreliable about the little details in life, but they are seldom flaky. They are usually loyal and trustworthy and make terrific friends. Criticism can make them stop in their tracks and dig in their heels like a donkey. They expect to be accepted just as they are, even when they are wildly unpredictable. Their charm makes it difficult to remain angry with them for long. So that's your Aquarius moon in the 12th house. So that's what the universe was dealing with in finality, end times. Because that's what the 12th house is all about. Finality, endings, the subconscious. So that's house 1, house 12. So let's move to house 2. House 2, Aries. So yeah, she's right because see that's what the problem is in her relationship because this dude is real aggressive about money. Real aggressive. That's why I put that word suspicious. So make sure you'll listen to that natal chart. It's a 6-hour chart, but try to listen to all of it. Because I get that women are very intuitive. And I'll get women that'll tell me to do a space chart. And it'll be exactly what they was feeling. So really quick, Aquarius in his second house will always be about money, possessions, and his value system. And this guy is very aggressive. And they're very independent because Aquarius is I am. They don't want no help. And they don't want you nowhere around them because they figure somehow you're going to mess up their plan. And their plan is to get a lot of money. Very aggressive. Now, Uranus retrograde, very unpredictable. It could be chaos 1 minute, nice 1 minute. They could be one way 1 minute, another way the next. And see, you got to be careful because that's Aries energy. So very unpredictable. And it's also, again, past life is talking about a person that may have been a revolutionary. And the advice they gave for Uranus retrograde was you have to learn to compromise. And then you see the number 21, 777, or 16, the 4 4s. And remember, any combination of 4s always deal primarily with angels or archangels. And even you got Bitcoin coming out, because Bitcoin is coming out of nowhere. Because they've been saying they were going to change the American dollar for over 30 years. I remember when they were saying that in the 80s. Or they're going to kill the stock market, and they've been saying that for over 30 years. So you can expect radical changes in the financial system, which you're seeing. Third house is Gemini, Taurus, and Gemini. Now give me a moment because I want to look at those two charts. All right, so I'm looking at the two charts and I'm beginning to notice, but I just want to I want to go back to the originals. So the day they met, the universe this is some eerie shit. The day they met, the universe was a lot like his birth natal chart. See, this is why I tell people, this is what you should be studying. All that shit about love and all that shit, love comes and goes. It's just the way it is. It's not that big of a deal. Money comes and goes. Money can't buy you love. You're from London. Don't you remember the Beatles? Money can't buy you love. Because the day they met, that natal chart in some ways is mimicking this guy's birthday. So now just give me a second because I got to look at everything. That's some eerie shit, man. Like, who the hell are you, dude? I mean, fortunately, not fully. But enough for you to go. And remember I was saying 30 years? Because it is a 30-year time frame. And I was talking about Harold Camping. It was around that time frame. Because there were two big things in the 80s. You had George Orwell, 1944, and then Harold Camping came out with his shit. And it was in the 80s. So that's why I try to tell you guys, it's people walking on this planet now that are going to have a direct effect on what's about to happen. That's what you should be studying. Not driving me crazy over love. And love is going to come and go. Find out your life purpose. Find out what's really going on. That's my job. I can help you with the love stuff. It's no problem. But you're still going to have bigger problems. Love will always come and go. It's just the nature of love. You need to be worrying about what your purpose is, your connection to the universe. That's why everybody wants to talk about Jesus. But when Jesus was born, the first thing they said was his star. His star. His star was everything. Second thing they said about Jesus was Egypt. 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 Go back to the realness. Not the fake lies that these Europeans gave you. Go back to the realness. That's your whole point of wanting to get your natal chart. Because that's where your power is going to be. Otherwise, you'll always be weak, wondering about somebody else. Oh, somebody else. Oh, how's that? You should never need somebody else to make you happy. There's nothing wrong with having somebody, but you shouldn't need somebody else to make you happy. You should be able to make yourself happy. I love myself. I'm hilariously happy. So I'll be the bad guy. But unfortunately, I know I'm the good guy, and I'm going to be right. Because when Nibiru, when that second sun appears in the sky and people start dying, the destroyer, you're going to realize what I told you was the truth. You should have came back in line with your universal purpose, which is shown to you through your natal chart. That star of Jesus Christ, that star you put on top of your Christmas tree, that represents your natal chart. Your purpose for life and why you're here. They knew his purpose was to be king and be a ruler and to deliver these people called the Hebrews, which some people call Israel. That was his purpose. And that was the main thing he came for, and that's what he died for. So this is very eerie that his birth date chart looks eerily, not fully identical, but eerily identical to the day they met. So whoever he is, there's some. We've already proven there's a lot of power with her. See, I tell you, these are people that lived before and stuff like that, and there's people that have direct connections to the soul of Isis and the soul of Osiris. As soon as I said that, my light went out because I be having some eerie stuff going on, and I got a light to be making noises and go. As soon as I said that, the light went out. But there's been a lot of eerie stuff with her. A lot of eerie stuff. And just like then, I did her natal chart and uploaded it. And then, for whatever happened, that all got messed up, so I had to upload it again. But it was almost like a lot of this information, somebody don't want her to get it. All right. So that's eerie. Now I want to double check everything. Just give me a second. I want to get back to the chart I was using. Okay, Taurus and Gemini, again, you got to watch out for the bully effect of Taurus. Gemini can be short-term. It is creativity. But, see, we already learned. See, his first three houses was on his chart. I'm not talking about this chart. But his first three houses was all about money. And Taurus and Gemini is kind of like the same way. Because Taurus is about possessions, finances, and value system. And he uses his communication and his skills primarily for financial reasons. But on this day, it was about radical change in finances. And like I said, it might have been a radical change in her finances. I don't know. But there were a lot of things to be concerned with. And you got to remember Aries, which was what her Chiron retrograde, which means a wound that was never healed, deals with Aries energy. And we said we said there could be problems with finances. Because it looked like there was a viewpoint that said, my money is my money, you stay out of it. But your money, I'm going to be there too. Your money, I want to know about your money. We need to share your finances. But when it came to his money sector, it's like, stay the hell away from me. And now you're seeing it on this chart with this aggression towards money. Those lower octaves can be very dangerous. They're self-destructive. or they may even kill other people. When you see kingdoms and stuff, that's what be happening. They be killing kings or killing princesses, and so they could take over. Right now in Arabia, that's what that dude's doing. He's taking over everything. One guy. This is what I'm talking about. Didn't I just say one individual? One individual in Arabia. Right now, Paul Bagley's always talking about this. One guy in Arabia has basically almost wiped out every other king. Anybody that he felt was competition, he's gotten rid of. And right now they're arguing in the UN that they do something about this one guy. Now the 4th house is Gemini. Again, now you're talking about education, because the 4th house is teenage education to adult education, and Gemini is younger education. So it was definitely a focus on education, but also this is the family sector, so it's also focusing on the family, especially siblings, brothers and sisters, because that's what Gemini is. So it could deal with communications and things like that as well, or even traveling to see these people, but it's also short travel. Gemini can also mean arguments, things that lead to people breaking up, like problems. Now the 5th house was family sectors. So somebody may have been romantically finding and getting involved with, because this is Venus and Uranus, with family. Now what I mean by family environment is what I'm trying to tell you. But when you deal with soul people, though, those are your families. A lot of people in your families are people you had relationship with in other lifetimes. Whatever type of relationship, soul connection, might have been your neighbor, whatever it was, but that's what you're seeing. So that's what was going on in the universe too. And again, it was a lot of love then. And there was, which I already covered on her chart, Juno. You'll find yourself in a relationship with a family-minded person and things like that. All right. I had to deal with that light. It was getting on my nerves. Sixth house ruled by Virgo. There you have the Sphinx again. The Sphinx used to be the virgin on a head, or a kitten or a cat, and in the body of a lion. But the head of the Sphinx was really a Virgo. That's the Virgin Mother with her son, the lion. So that's again what you're seeing in the 6th house. And this is a very happy house. And believe it or not, that's how his chart looks. Because I remember saying he's very happy. He's a great communicator. Very healing. And well, Jupiter's there. But it also was a lot of money for people that are in the home service sector, or they have leadership in the home service sector, health, home service, daily activities, subordinates, which means bosses for the subordinates to the bosses, under people, or co-workers. But for this day, it would be made fun because of Leo, even romantic. So it was a lot of family and home romance going on at that time. A lot of great communication. Jupiter was blessing it with a lot of money. So a great day for Leo. A great day for the home sector of Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but I'm not going to say it was a great day for Sagittarius just because of Jupiter, because we have to get to the 9th house to make sure. The 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Moving on to the 6th house. The 7th house is relationships. Again, Virgos were having vertex connections. That can be a soulmate connection. It could be a significant event with Virgo. And Virgo is detail-oriented. An earthy sign. Critically analysis. Can be a perfectionist. And this is the relationship sector, or any type of relationship. Business, romantic. So they came under critical analysis, and maybe people were being too, wanting too much perfection and too much detail, examining their relationships. But it could be a significant event, a significant breakup, or a soul mate meeting. All part of fortune really does, good fortune, that circle with an X, all it does is amplify whatever already there. Now, the number 14, we're going to use Bill Heydrich to look at the number 14. Give me a moment. Just gotta wait for this window to load. $14 to go slowly, softly. Look out for hope. Look out or hope to join, which has happened. That's the day they met. The day they met to join. And then she said they met face to face on that day. To penetrate, to stick in, we'll leave that one alone. But I have a whole lot of jokes. I'm from Jersey. Buckthorn, boyish, the thread, despise, pray. Oh, watch out for that word pray. It says pray and booty. Wow. Now, if you went sexual, you could go booty. But booty also means money, which I keep warning about because this dude's about the cash. It said cavern of a defile. A defile, to be curved, arch, body, ridge, back, lifting up, pride, person. Wow, all that stuff sounds extremely sexual. A depression, valley, hollow, and I talked a lot about the hollow in the video part 1 of this video, which has suspicion in the title. I'll keep saying that because no matter how many times I say it, somebody's still going to go, what is he talking about? I don't know. So we talked about the hollow being the uterus, the divine womb. Body, person, a people, troop, swarms, a sacrifice. And we warned about that sacrifice. A boil, to warm or move, to love. An object of love, a beloved, a friend, uncle, nephew. David, the beloved. Boiler, pot, kettle, basket. Want, need, sufficiency, enough. Who, which, that. Aha, gift offering, to stretch. To point, lead, to shine, to be bright yellow. That goes back to like Leo, really. Gold, shekels. Gold light, brilliance, oil. Locust. That's Revelation chapter 9 again, the hollow. It keeps going to the hollow or the bottomless pit, just like I told you. See, people, they don't listen. Like guys like me, they don't get it. I'm sent here for a reason. And you'll try to warn people, but they'll be so caught up on love and everything until they end up in a coma, like they said. And that was on the chart. Said, be careful. They said you'll already be dead when you're in a coma. But you know what's funny? I'll get blamed for that. Now, I didn't say it, but I'll get blamed for it. All I did was read what the experts were warning. Be careful. They've been saying be careful. Locust, to turn about, move in a circle, dance. Might have went out dancing that day. Who knows? Or that week. Who knows? To reel. But you got to be careful with reel because somebody might be trying to reel you in. To celebrate a festival or holiday. To shout afar or aloud. Yod, the letter Yod. Power, force. Help, a slap or stroke, the side, the brink, space. I've been telling you all about space since we started the very first part 1 which has suspicious in the video. I started off telling you about Orion had a message before I got into it, and it proved to be true. We learned about the Sphinx and everything. Place a monumental pillar. Well, what is a monumental pillar? Well, in the Bible, it talks about pillars of the temple and a monument, like in Egypt. Or in Washington, D.C., they have a monument, but that's really pointing you back to Egypt. Washington, D.C. was built as a resemblance to ancient Egypt. I don't know if you guys know that. I told you guys about the dollar bill with the pyramids. And I told you to go listen to Michael Fazio on YouTube. And he'll show you how your dollar bill is all about Egypt and the Ark of the Covenant. And angels. So that's the kind of stuff you should be interested in. The love stuff, like I said, comes and goes, and sometimes love stinks. Love hurts. Love might even kill you. Love might tell you they love you and use you and manipulate you and then knock you out the way and take your finances when you're dead and cry at your funeral when they're the ones that got you killed. Got to be real careful. See, people have a misconstruction about twin flames and twin souls. They think it's all going to be about love and people loving so much and turning into fire and all that crazy stuff. That happens sometimes, but a lot of times this is a lot of pain, a lot of struggle, a lot of treachery. Treachery. So that's number 14. Now Pallas is at 0, but 0 and 7. And Pallas is going into from the 7th house into the 8th house. But Pallas, when it's direct like this is really all about seeing patterns, especially. But it can be about female empowerment, but it's really about seeing patterns. Now this is the 8th house, true north node. Leo, Libra, and the 8th house. Now, I hope she's listening. Now, this is how natal chart's supposed to look. See how his 2nd house is opposing the 8th house? Now, I know it has a number 7, but that has nothing to do with it. The count starts with the AC and the EP. The AC and the EP makes it the 1st house. Now, why did the universe do that? Why did the universe put the 1st house in the 12th house? Because they're dealing with 2 different time frames. They're still dealing with closure from possibly a past life, but they're also dealing with your ascendant or this life. But now his 2nd house is directly opposing his 8th house. That's the way it's supposed to be. The 2nd house is about his money. I am. Whose ever chart this would be. But the 8th house is about other people's money or money he shares. But you have to be. So this would be more normal. Because you can have Libra. You can have Libra in the 8th house, because it is about shared resources. That's not a bad thing. But you just have to be careful if anybody's saying I am, or if they're chaotic with which is what a Uranus retrograde would mean. Now again, this is a space chart. It's not a natal chart. But I'm using it to teach you the energies that were going on in the world that day. Because you're kind of seeing there's going to be some type of relationship or a partnership issue with an erratic Aries. And you see that on her chart. Again, not putting the guy down, but I said be careful. See, when you're suspicious, you're careful. Somebody doesn't need to know all your private information, because you guys might get in an argument, and in a heated moment, they may do something with your information. It's just certain things you learn growing up. Because see, when you tell somebody, oh, I love you, I'm going to be all for you, we're going to have great sex, you got to mean that. Because what good are you saying all that, but then you go out and you gossip against the person, or you're still flirting with other guys and stuff like that? Because that's going to cause problems. And now this person, if they don't understand this life, they take the heart. That takes the heart. Oh, this person told me they love me. This person told me they don't. Now I got pictures of her sitting on some other guys, dancing with other guys, all sexy and all that. Now he's fucking out there. Now he wants revenge. Or it could be the female doing it. This guy told. So that's the real world. Until you learn. That's why I said grow up. Everybody's mad at me because I tell the truth. Grow up. Until you learn how the world really runs, you gotta stop it. Because there's not going to be any perfect love. This is an imperfect world. There might be a few people that get there, but the majority of people can't get past the 3rd grade level. the selfishness, the meism, the egos, and everything that comes with it. So now this was a true north node that is supposed to be partnerships in the 8th house matters. Now, if you want to know what 8th house matters is, because that's a lot of information, go back to the first, which will be part 1 to this video. And that has suspicious in the title. But there will be some type of partnership formed in one or more of those areas. But the partner still has to be careful because you're dealing with an Aries energy that's erratic. So that Aries has to learn how to work with a partnership and not go I am. Now, the 9th house, very interesting. It's really about the 8th house because it has Scorpio. But now this is going to be a more deeper look at Scorpio. Because the 9th house is really that culture, teacher, the highest education, going deeper into the unknown, the 8th house. But there's going to be a lot of intensity there because of Mars. And I would imagine, see what you're kind of looking at is the powers that be represented by Saturn starting war, represented by Mars. Because when you deal with war, you're dealing with dead souls, and all those souls are going into Scorpio, the 8th house. The unknown. Even using high technology for bombs that can kill people but not destroy buildings. All that stuff is Scorpio stuff. Battlegrounds, warfield, invading foreign territory. See, it would be good to study what happened that week of 2014 that we're talking about. What are any invasions? What happened? Also, it might have been some drastic changes in religion by the Pope. And that's all he's been doing. Is changing everything. Because Saturn represents the Pope, somebody in authority. And then whenever you deal with the Catholic Church, you're dealing with mysticism. They have deeper understandings of spiritual stuff. Deeper understanding of the mother and all that, everything. Might have been a lot of weird stuff going on with the law. People acting up, the laws got to be sent in. Because remember, I'm sure it was just a few years ago, you had all these revolutionary groups standing up. People getting shot by authority, and they can't tell you why they killed them. Shooting unarmed people and stuff like that. That was not too long ago. So that's what you're seeing in the 9th house. Because they're invoking foreign change or worldwide change. Because remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter means expansion all over the place. So Saturn and Mars. Because when I see Saturn and Mars, I see the authorities that be using their police officers or their military to maintain order or to invade. Let me do that again. Saturn conjunct Mars. Now, if you want to learn more about Scorpio and Sagittarius, all you have to do is go back to part 1 of this video, which has suspicious in the title. That's part 1. Oh, good. This is myastrologybook.com, one of my favorite websites. So this person will have a strong drive for power and a lot of ambition. That's why you have to be careful, because that could get somebody killed so you could take their finances and everything. But are often frustrated in achieving your goals by a poor sense of timing or holding yourself back because of fear or tension. The feelings can be somewhat like driving a car with the brakes on. When active, you're responsible to the extreme, taking on obligations and pushing yourself. You can be Spartan when it comes to your needs and surroundings. Because of these perceived and real obstacles, you try too hard to tend to force things. Others may at times find your approach severe and hurtful. And Mars rules Aries, and where her Aries is on her chart is her Chiron retrograde, which means hard to heal. In Scorpio and fire signs, Mars is stronger than Saturn, and that's what she has, Scorpio. And you tend to accomplish your goals, on this chart. And I'm only going to see she because she requested it. And you tend to accomplish your goals in a controlled and responsible manner. In this case, you could be a law unto yourself because the ninth house, well, he doesn't even know we're talking about the ninth house, but it is about law. Law is in the ninth house. You could be a law unto yourself, but we already learned that about on his natal chart. He kind of goes by his own set of rules sometimes. And you try to impose your personal rules and limitations on others. So, strong desire, a lot of ambition. And also, Sagittarius represents big goals, big philosophy looking in life, foreign matters. And again, it could be in-laws as well. So a lot of weird stuff going on with in-laws at that time. And just to try to, I'm going to see if I can find somewhere to get a little bit more. But we'll see. Mars conjunct Saturn, this is astromatrix.org, shows that you are fortunate in being able to use your energy constructively. They say Mars wants to just go do it, but Saturn will try to make it realize its consequences. Saturn is trying to restrain it. But they do say this person can become angry when others try to interfere with you. I understand what this guy is saying, but bottom line, Saturn represents the authority. The powers that be. Could be the Pope, any authority. And Mars is their arm, their military, their police officers. It says frustration brings out the most dangerous kind of energy in you. You are not accustomed to having your plans challenged and can launch vicious attacks against your adversaries. Like I said, but it took him forever to get to that. That's like somebody pointing a gun at you, and you're talking about some stupid shit. The gun's pointed at my face. I need to know about the gun. You see Saturn and Mars, you're talking about somebody about to send military your way. This person's looking to beat that at. You're going to do what I told you to, or that's what Mars and Saturn conjunct means. It can mean, rationalization and, Saturn will stop me from kicking your ass. It can mean that, but overall it doesn't mean that. It means Saturn is sending Mars to kick your ass. Especially with Scorpio, because Mars used to rule Scorpio. This is like a big bomb ready to blow. Has nothing to do with being rational and all that. We're way past rational. But even the other one said it all depends on what sign is in that house. But Scorpio is highly emotional, power struggles, stuff like that. So maybe that's why I saw it faster than he did. I don't know. All right, so that's that. 10th house, all about career. Your career sector is Sagittarius. So this could be a teacher, a language translator, a philosopher, a religionist, a career student, Could have something to do with the law. Might even have something to do with in-laws. But again, it's not enough there to let you know. But they say sometimes to understand the 10th house, you got to go back to the 9th house. So we already did that. Now, Pluto retrograde quickly means the taking away. When somebody like when the universe is pushing a person a certain way, sometimes a person is stubborn. Because Capricorn can be stubborn too. So Capricorn don't want to change. If Capricorn feels secure and stable where they're at, they won't really try to change sometimes. Some of them will. But Capricorn tends to like to want to be. So Pluto retrograde comes to move that ass. Pluto retrograde is going to attack you. Sometimes it attacks you externally to make you change internally. So this person has some type of business, career, or reputation going on with his friends, associates, and groups. But something is stagnant, and Pluto comes to take something away or to force change. And again, if this was a person's natal chart, they might want to get an angel card reading to find out more. Or the person might know more. But that's what it's saying. And we already did the 12th house, all about Aquarius. So, again, it was a very shaky, volatile time. And what's very unique is the male sign. And what I'm saying be suspicious of, for the reasons I've already said in part 1 of this video, which has suspicious in the title. The natal chart almost aligns with his birth chart. So that's a little spooky, but the whole thing was spooky if you ask me. And nothing to worry about. I see this all the time. But again, all I'm trying to help people realize is, number one, I'm going to keep it 100. Your natal chart is your responsibility. My responsibility is to tell you what's there. And I always keep my responsibility because I fear God. Now, number two, once that's established, sometimes people keep directing that to me. It's your natal chart. I've done all I can do. Now, if you have a problem with this, a problem with that, then place another order. Because we have to be fair. I've already spent like a lot of my time. Plus all the stuff I had to go through in dealing with this. I had communication coming to me from Orion Constellation. I've got some spirit in here that keeps turning my light off that I had to get out of here. So I'm going through a lot. So I really don't need to hear somebody that doesn't want to do their part. So if you really want to learn, humble yourself and learn. But work with the procedure. Sometimes the nice guys finish last, but I've learned you can't. You can be nice. I'm not going to let this world change me. I've been here for a long time. But I'm not going to be bullied at the same time. This is Get. God bless. Anybody interested in any services, you can request a service list, or you can go right into the description box. It also gives you information as well. God bless.